The Lacey Act is a bill that was introduced by Iowa Congressman John Lacey. It was passed through the House of Representatives and later signed into law by President McKinley in 1900. It aids in the prevention of illegal animal trafficking and commercial hunting. The bill addressed the decline of game species, especially the negative impact on the populations of birds. The Lacey Act was the first real major contribution to conservation in America. It is arguably the best and most important wildlife protection statute in our country's environmental history. Before the Lacey Act, there weren't any regulations in place to protect animals from overhunting and profiteering. Poachers would kill large amounts of game and then ship them across state lines to avoid prosecution. The result of so many people getting away with this unscathed and then for so long would be that wildlife would suffer. In John Lacey's memorial, he not only calls himself a lover of the birds, but that he's always been a hunter as well, and there is no friend that the birds have like the true sportsman. He was passionate, and his main motives behind creating the bill was the extinction of the carrier pigeon, severely depleted numbers of grouse, and buffalo. Along with the introduction of non-native species pushing out natural populations, as well as the death of millions of birds a year for the production of ladies' hats. These were the main reasons behind John Lacey's fight for conservation. The Lacey Act is prompted by three main points. It permits the introduction and preservation of wild birds under the title of game, song, and insectivorous. It also stops the irresponsible introduction of birds and animals of foreign origin. It enhances state laws to aid in the protection of game and birds. Since the very beginning, the biggest problem that states faced when dealing with poachers was that they didn't have enough power to stop them. The Lacey Act steps in to actually widen the power that the Department of Agriculture has. The Act accounts for more situations by being broad and encompassing many specific guidelines. It sanctions the Secretary of Agriculture to reintroduce birds. A big concern over invasive species was their harmful ability to throw off the balance in an ecosystem. John Lacey goes on to make an example of injurious species in other places, the mongoose in Jamaica, and how it destroyed the island's populations of birds. The rabbits that blanketed Australia, and Scotch thistle in Canada. He brings these up to prove the importance of keeping alien organisms out of habitats that are not its own. Not only does the Lacey Act advocate for the protection against invasive species, but it regards the fashion industry as dangerously damaging. In a single sale in London in 1898, 116,490 skins of hummingbirds and 228,289 bundles of Indian parrots were sold for decorative purposes only. Over 500,000 bird skins were disposed of. John Lacey was not ignorant to our ways, and despite other figures in America wanting to push reform overseas, he knew we needed to be the role model. He wanted the Lacey Act to be the course America took to prove the good use of wild game and bird protection. The Lacey Act forced mankind to wake up. John Lacey states, "It is late. It is too late as to the wild pigeon. The buffalo is almost a thing of the past." He touches on man's carelessness and greed when harvesting the wild fauna for our nation. The Lacey Act came to include that it was illegal to import plants and plant products without the correct declaration with the 2008 amendment. A very notable case was when the company of Gibson Guitars was raided in 2012 for supposed illegal utilization of endangered wood. In 2016, the largest criminal penalty ever paid through the Lacey Act totaled $13.5 million from the foreign company Lumber Liquidators for the mislabeling of imported endangered wood. In general, violators of the Act can face fines and imprisonment. The public's opinions of the Lacey Act were resoundingly positive. The Oskaloosa Herald, a highly reputable newspaper firm in Iowa, states, "The Lacey Bird Law, an act that is praised by all people throughout the length and breadth of the land." The Lacey Act not only made groundbreaking changes for conservation, it set the precedent for the future and would become a foundation for other environmental laws.